Let me ask you something uncomfortable right out of the gate. Why is it that some men work for 40 years, wake up before sunrise, stay late, do everything society told them to do, and still lie awake at night worrying about the next bill, while others, often quieter and less stressed, seem to move through life differently? They're not frantic. They're not desperate. Money doesn't chase them. It reports to them. That contrast is not luck. It's not intelligence. And it's not morality. It's structure. It's philosophy. And as Machiavelli warned centuries ago, the man who depends on others for his survival can never be truly free. Dependence is weakness. Independence is power. Most of us were handed the same script early on. Study hard, get a respectable job, earn a steady paycheck, be grateful, don't ask too many questions. On the surface it sounds safe, responsible, civilized. But Machiavelli would have recognized the trap immediately. A paycheck can feed you, yes, but it cannot liberate you. Income keeps you alive, assets give you leverage, and leverage is where freedom begins. The wealthy understand this distinction so deeply that it shapes every decision they make. They don't ask, how much did I earn this month? They ask, what did I build this month? That difference sounds small. It isn't. It's the difference between survival and sovereignty. This is where Rule 1 of the rich operates quietly beneath the surface. Stop working just for money and start building assets. Assets are not a buzzword. They are instruments of power. Machiavelli wrote that a prince who relies on mercenaries will never be secure. Income is a mercenary. It shows up only when you show up. Assets are loyal soldiers. They work when you rest. They defend you when crisis arrives. They remain when effort fades. For years, I misunderstood this. I believed hard work itself was the goal. Earlier mornings, later nights, extra hours. I watched my income rise and mistook motion for progress. But something strange happened. Every raise was matched by a new expense. Every increase in income created a higher standard of living, not a higher level of freedom. I was running faster, but the scenery never changed. Then a mentor said something that cut through the noise. Income feeds you, assets free you. That sentence stayed with me because it exposed the real problem. It wasn't how much I earned, it was what my money was doing when I wasn't. Think of it this way. Imagine you're a farmer. Every month you're given a bag of seeds. That bag is your paycheck. You have two options. You can eat all the seeds and survive this season, or you can plant some of them so you don't starve next season. Most people eat everything. They tell themselves they start planting when they earn more. That moment rarely comes because spending adapts faster than discipline. The wealthy eat enough to live today and plant the rest. Not because they're disciplined robots, but because they understand cause and effect. If you consume all your seeds, you guarantee dependence. History is filled with examples of this distinction. John D. Rockefeller didn't become powerful because he earned more than everyone else. He became powerful because he owned the infrastructure others depended on: oil wells, refineries, rail access. While competitors chased revenue, he accumulated control. That is asset thinking. Even today, look at modern founders. The wealthiest people on earth rarely earn salaries. They earn systems, equity, intellectual property, platforms. They trade short-term comfort for long-term dominance. I once met a man who looked wealthy by every visible standard: luxury car, expensive clothes, high-income job. I asked him one simple question. If you stopped working today, how long could you live? He didn't answer immediately. His silence told me everything. He was rich in income, but poor in assets. Later, I met a woman, a school teacher by profession, modest salary, quiet life. She consistently invested part of every paycheck into dividend stocks, a small rental room, and a simple online business. Over time, those assets began to cover her expenses. She didn't look rich, but she slept like someone who was free. Machiavelli would have admired her restraint. He warned that those who pursue appearance over substance lose both. Ownership is substance. Lifestyle is appearance. A high income without assets is just a prettier form of dependence. That's why Rule 1 is non-negotiable. Freedom is not built from income. It is built from ownership. Every dollar you earn must be commanded. It must either feed you today or free you tomorrow. There is no neutral money. If you do not assign it a role, it will obey your impulses instead. So before you spend, pause. Ask yourself one question. Is this seed going to die in my mouth, or will it grow into something that pays me back? Because if you don't make money your servant, it will quietly make you its prisoner. The wealthy never skip planting seeds, regardless of income level. That habit is what separates those who age with anxiety from those who age with options, and this leads directly into the next rule. Because understanding assets is not enough, you must train yourself to protect them, even when temptation is strong. That discipline has a name, and it is the foundation of everything that follows. If this idea hit close to home, share your reflection in the comments or simply type plant seeds. And if you want to go deeper into this way of thinking, subscribe and join a growing community of men focused on assets, discipline, and long-term freedom over short-term comfort. Discipline, allocation, and the architecture of wealth. If Rule 1 taught you that assets create freedom, Rule 2 answers a harder question. Why do so many people understand this, yet never act on it? The answer is uncomfortable. Knowledge is cheap. Discipline is rare. Most people don't fail financially because they don't know what to do. They fail because they postpone doing it. They say things like, when I earn more, I'll start saving. When life gets easier, I'll invest. When things calm down, I'll build a plan. That day almost never comes. Machiavelli would call this self-deception a form of weakness. A man who cannot command himself will never command resources. This is where the wealthy quietly separate themselves. Rule 2 is simple but brutal. Pay yourself first, not after rent, not after entertainment, not after lifestyle. First. This rule is not about money, it's about hierarchy. Whoever you pay first is who you work for. Most people pay everyone else first and hope something is left. The wealthy reverse the order. They pay their future first and force the present to adjust. I once told a young professional to start setting aside a small percentage of every paycheck, even if it felt insignificant. He laughed and said saving $5 or $10 wouldn't change anything. Years later, his income had doubled. His savings were still zero. He said the same thing, just with bigger numbers. That's when it becomes obvious. Wealth doesn't start with money, it starts with identity. If you don't learn to plant seeds when you have little, you won't plant them when you have more. Your circumstances don't change your habits. Your habits change your circumstances. The rich understand this deeply. They don't wait for motivation. They build systems. Paying yourself first is a form of self-rule. Machiavelli wrote that order must be imposed early or chaos will rule later. Money behaves the same way. If you don't assign it a mission immediately, emotion will assign it a distraction, coffee here, a subscription there, a purchase justified by stress, boredom, or reward. Individually, they seem harmless. Together, they quietly steal years of freedom. This brings us naturally to Rule 3. Design your money buckets with intention. Paying yourself first without knowing where the money should go is like planting seeds in random soil and hoping something grows. The rich don't hope, they allocate. They divide money into systems that serve different purposes, because power without structure collapses under pressure. The first bucket is safety. This is the foundation. It's not built to impress anyone. It's built to make you unshakable. Emergency reserves, stable investments, conservative assets that protect you when life turns unpredictable. Think index funds, blue-chip dividend stocks, insurance buffers, reliable real estate. These assets grow slowly and quietly, like roots beneath a tree. Machiavelli warned that any structure without a solid base will fall at the first shock. Financial freedom without safety is an illusion. The second bucket is growth. This is where opportunity lives. Higher risk, higher potential, businesses, startups, emerging technology, scalable ideas. This is the bucket people are most attracted to emotionally. And it's also where most people get hurt. They chase growth before building safety. The rich do the opposite. They enter growth from a position of strength. They know not every seed will survive, but they also know a few successful ones can change everything. The difference is discipline. Growth without safety is chaos. Growth built on safety becomes leverage. Then there's the third bucket, the one. most people ignore and later regret: self-investment, skills, health, knowledge, relationships. This bucket has no ceiling. Machiavelli understood that a ruler's greatest asset was not gold, but competence. Markets crash. Assets fluctuate, skills compound. The rich invest relentlessly in their ability to think clearly, communicate powerfully, solve valuable problems, and remain physically and mentally capable. These are assets no government can tax and no crisis can confiscate. History proves this again and again. After financial collapses, those with skills and systems rebuild faster than those who only had money. The poor buy entertainment, the middle class buys liabilities, the rich buy growth, not because they're superior, but because they understand return on investment at a deeper level. Now comes the trap that destroys progress for many people who make it this far. Lifestyle. This is where Rule 4 enters, quietly but decisively. Build cash-flowing assets before upgrading your life. The modern world encourages the opposite. Look rich now, enjoy now, upgrade now. The result is elegant dependence. I once met a man whose life looked perfect from the outside: luxury apartment, premium car, designer everything. But every month he was trapped, working overtime to maintain an image that owned him. When I asked how much money he earned while sleeping, he had no answer. The rich play a longer game. They delay visible comfort to build invisible engines: rental income, dividends, royalties, automated businesses, systems that pay monthly. These assets don't impress at first, but they do something far more valuable. They replace desperation with choice. Machiavelli would have recognized this immediately. A man who depends on appearances is ruled by them. A man who controls cash flow controls his time. Here is the simple filter the rich use: EFO. Any major purchase. Will this put money into my pocket every month, or will it take money out? One question leads to freedom. The other leads to stress. Let assets buy your lifestyle, not your paycheck. Before the car, own something that pays for it. Before the luxury, own the engine that funds it. Otherwise, luxury becomes a prison with velvet walls. If this section made you rethink how you treat your income, share your reflection below, or simply comment, "Pay myself first." That phrase is more than words. It's a declaration of hierarchy, value, control, and playing the money game correctly. By now, a pattern should be forming in your mind. Freedom doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from leverage. And this brings us to Rule 5, the one that quietly dismantles a lie. Most men live under their entire lives. Money does not follow hours, money follows value. Most people try to earn more by working longer, earlier mornings, later nights, fewer weekends. They trade life for income and call it ambition. But the world doesn't reward exhaustion, it rewards usefulness. Two people can work in the same company, under the same title, and earn completely different incomes. The difference is not time, it's impact. One solves low-level problems anyone could solve. The other removes friction, increases revenue, or prevents loss. One is replaceable, the other is leverage. A mentor once told me something that changed how I looked at work forever. Stop asking how you can work more hours. Ask how you can become more valuable in fewer hours. That sentence rewired my thinking. I stopped chasing overtime and started chasing skills. Because once you become valuable enough, money has no choice but to follow. The rich understand this intuitively. They don't get paid more for their time. They get paid more for their thinking. Look at people whose income seems unfairly high. They're not paid for effort. They're paid for scale. They solve problems that affect many people, not just one employer. This is the uncomfortable truth. If your income is tied only to your presence, your freedom will always be fragile. That's why Rule 5 isn't about hustle, it's about relevance. Ask yourself hard questions. Can I help people save time? Can I help them make more money? Can I remove pain, confusion, inefficiency, or risk? Value is created when you solve problems that matter. The bigger the problem you solve, and the more people you solve it for, the higher your income ceiling becomes. But here's where many valuable people still fail. They earn more, they create impact, Yet they remain stressed, anxious, and stuck. Why? Because value without control leaks away. That leads directly to Rule 6. Track every dollar like the rich. People assume wealth is built by earning more. In reality, more people go broke from what they don't control than from what they don't earn. Most people know exactly how much comes in. Almost no one knows where it goes. Money disappears quietly. It leaks through habits disguised as convenience. A coffee here, a subscription there, a purchase justified by stress or reward. Each one seems small. Together, they decide your future. They form a system of silent theft. I once sat with a young professional who told me, "I earn well, but I'm always broke at the end of the month." So we did something simple. We tracked his spending line by line for 1 hour. No judgment, just awareness. The results shocked him. He wasn't poor, he was unconscious. His money wasn't being stolen by big mistakes. It was being drained by invisible decisions, made without intention. That's when the lesson became clear. You cannot grow what you do not control. The rich track every dollar, not because they're stingy, but because they respect power. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler who does not know his resources cannot defend his state. Money behaves the same way. If you don't tell it where to go, it will leave on its own. Awareness is a form of command. Once you see clearly, discipline becomes easier. Cutting waste stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like reclaiming stolen freedom. Here's a simple exercise that has transformed lives. For 30 days, write down everything you spend, every coffee, every impulse click, every subscription. At the end of the month, highlight what brought no real value. Redirect even 10% of that waste into assets. 10%. That single shift, repeated consistently, can change your financial trajectory entirely, because freedom doesn't begin with investing. It begins with control. And once control is established, the rich move to something most people fear or misunderstand. Rule 7. Keep what you earn by using debt and taxes intelligently. Two people can earn the same income. One becomes wealthy, the other stays trapped. The difference is not luck, it's understanding. Most people are taught to fear debt and resent taxes, so they avoid learning how either works. The rich do the opposite. They study the rules and use them strategically. Bad debt is borrowing to buy things that drain you every month. It buys appearance and sells freedom. Good debt is used to acquire assets that produce income, rent, properties, businesses, systems that pay more than the debt costs. One creates servitude, the other creates leverage. Taxes work the same way. Governments design tax systems to reward certain behaviors, building businesses, creating jobs, investing long-term, owning assets. The rich ask a different question than most people. Not how much do I owe, but how can I legally structure my life to keep more of what I build? This isn't cheating, it's literacy. Machiavelli warned that ignorance of the rules does not protect you from their consequences. In money, ignorance is the most expensive tax of all. Most people spend 40 years working for money and never spend 40 days learning how money actually works. They fear leverage, so they avoid it. They fear taxes, so they overpay them. Then they wonder why freedom feels so far away. Wealth is not about income, it's about ownership, leverage, and strategy. And once you learn how to earn, control, and keep money, a deeper question emerges. What happens to that wealth beyond you? If this part forced you to rethink how you earn and control money, share your reflection below or comment, create value. That phrase signals a shift from effort to impact. Up to this point, everything we've discussed has been about building strength. While you're alive, income that doesn't enslave you, assets that don't sleep, discipline that doesn't depend on motivation. But the truly powerful think further ahead. This brings us to Rule 8, where money stops being personal and starts becoming generational. Think in generations, not just in years. Most people plan money within the limits of their own lifespan. How can I live comfortably? How can I retire safely? These are reasonable questions, but they are not the questions that build lasting power. The wealthy ask something different. What will exist because I lived? Wow. T foundation will remain when I'm gone. Machiavelli understood this. Power survives only when it is institutionalized. Personal strength dies with the man. Systems outlive him. I once met an older man named William. Quiet life, no flash, no public success story. But he was completely at peace financially. He told me something I've never forgotten. I didn't work so my life would be easy. I worked so my children would never have to start from zero. That sentence reveals the difference between consumption thinking and legacy thinking. True wealth is not measured by what you enjoy, it's measured by what you pass on. Here's the tragedy most families never see coming. They leave money but not principles, and money without principles evaporates. You've seen it happen. Inheritance gone in a few years, businesses destroyed by the next generation. Not because the money was small, but because the mindset that created it was never transferred. The rich don't just pass down assets, they pass down rules. Pay yourself first. Assets before lifestyle. Value over appearance. Control over impulse. Long-term thinking over short-term pleasure. This is why Rule 8 isn't just about building wealth that outlives you. It's about building a financial philosophy that survives you. When you think generationally, your behavior changes. You stop chasing hype. You stop gambling on trends. You choose assets that endure. You ask, what will this mean in 20 or 30 years? Instead of, what will this do next month? That shift alone eliminates most bad financial decisions. From legacy, the rich move to something more immediate and practical. Rule 9, prioritize cash flow. This rule exposes one of the biggest illusions in modern finance. People think wealth is what they own on paper: houses, stocks, businesses, cars, titles. But freedom is not a number on a statement. Freedom is a monthly experience. I once met a man who proudly told me he was a millionaire. On paper, he was right. Properties, investments, expensive lifestyle. But every month he was anxious. Taxes, maintenance, payments, obligations. His assets didn't pay him. They demanded him. He looked rich and lived stressed. Then I met another man with far fewer assets on paper. No luxury car, no designer labels, but he owned 3 small rentals, a dividend portfolio, and a modest business that paid him every month. He didn't fear the calendar. That's when the distinction became undeniable. Assets that don't pay you are not assets, they're emotional trophies. The rich don't focus on ownership alone, they focus on flow. They ask one question before committing to anything. Will this pay me every month, or will it cost me every month? That question separates the free from the trapped. A house that produces rent is an asset. A house that drains your income is a liability, no matter how impressive it looks. A business that runs without you is an asset. A business that collapses when you stop working is just a job wearing a crown. Cash flow matters because freedom is lived monthly, not someday. Streams replace labor, rental income, dividends, royalties, automated businesses, digital products, systems that keep working. When you step away, the goal is not to accumulate things, it's to build streams. One stream at first, then another, then another. Freedom doesn't arrive all at once, it compounds quietly. And once money flows reliably, the final rule reveals itself. Rule 10. Invest in people. Your real net worth is your network. This rule is the multiplier that turns wealth into influence. The richest people in the world didn't rise because they knew everything. They rose because they were surrounded by the right people: mentors, partners, advisors, teams, allies. I once met a young entrepreneur who told me he'd studied every strategy, every system, every investment idea, yet still felt stuck. I asked him one question: who speaks well of you when you're not in the room? He didn't answer. That silence revealed the truth. Reputation travels faster than effort. Relationships create opportunities long before money does. The rich don't chase people for advantage. They bring value first. They ask, how can I help? How can we grow together? They build trust slowly and intentionally. Because they understand something most people overlook. Skills make you valuable. Relationships make you unstoppable. Markets crash. Money disappears. But strong relationships allow you to rebuild faster than ever. A wealthy man once told me, if I lost everything tomorrow, I'd rebuild within 5 years, not because of income, but because of the people who trust me. That is social capital, and it outlasts any asset class. In the end, money is a tool. People are the real leverage. You've now seen the full structure. These aren't hacks, they aren't tricks, they are principles. Principles that turn income into assets, assets into cash flow into freedom, and freedom into legacy. But here is the final truth, the one that decides everything. Knowing a principle does nothing. Practicing it changes your life. Most people will feel inspired, nod along, and go back to eating their seeds. Freedom doesn't belong to listeners. It belongs to practitioners. Starting today, ask one question every time money touches your hand. Will this seed die in my mouth, or will it grow into something that pays me? Freedom is not bought with income. It is built with ownership, discipline, and consistency. If you want to walk this path with others who value assets over appearance, systems over shortcuts, and legacy over lifestyle, subscribe, be, and join a growing community focused on discipline, long-term thinking, and real financial freedom. And before you go, comment 1 or 2 words that capture what you're committing to now. Something simple, something real. Build legacy.